Rosie! Daddy's coming! Daddy's coming!
Okay, it's one of those games, is it? Shamelegacy is the latest title in the hide-and-seek first-person horror genre that just can't live up to its big brothers. Developed by Revenant Games and Fairyship Games, it's clearly inspired by Amnesia and I would say Outlast 2 specifically, but Shamelegacy made me wish I could get Amnesia to forget the 2 hours I lost to the game, and the only thing it outlasted was my patience. You play as a guy called William who awakes from having a seizure to find himself being hunted by some crazed cult in a rural 19th century village. It's pretty much what you would expect from a game like this nowadays. You sneak through various parts of the village, the forest, cabins, cemetery or war camp, trying to avoid the unkillable cultist while solving the occasional puzzle along the way. It's a formula that's been tried and tested over the years, and there's only ever really two categories these titles fall into. Those with genuine scares, haunting atmosphere and clever puzzles, like the aforementioned Amnesia or Outlast, or perhaps even things like Soma and Alien Isolation. Or there is the other end of the spectrum where the only terrifying thing is you're that little bit older once you finish playing, in other words that little bit closer to death, which, at this point to be honest, would be a mercy. Premise of the game isn't that bad. William Smith. Genuinely, his name is Will Smith. If only the cultists had the face of Chris Rock, we'd be able to smash through them with no problem. Anyway, Will Smith is the descendant of a line of cultists who originally sought to protect and serve this now forsaken village. That was until his father, Mr. Smith, decided he instead wanted to sacrifice refugees who were starting to flock the village following the war. Sacrificing to who? I don't know. But Will Smith decided he wants out of the cult with his wife and daughter. We awake from our seizure to find our family is missing and the cultists are out to get us, wanting to leave their crazy asses behind. The cultists look like they are possessed, but I don't know why. There is a big fire monster chasing us, but I don't know why. We meet a priest and, well actually I do know why. He is trying to get us away from the sins of our father, but most of the important story elements seem to happen within hallucinations and I don't know why. What starts off as an interesting premise quickly degenerates into a narrative puzzle with meaningless mismatched pieces that the developers want the players to smash into place to understand what is really going on here. By the end of the game it attempts to give you a plot twist ending, but there is so much ambiguity left for most of the crazy events that precede the ending, it made me wonder, did the writers even know what the storyline was? I found myself asking many questions by the end of the game, and I had more questions than I had hours in it. There is an achievement for completing the game in under 2 hours, which I managed to do on my first playthrough. I tested both the PS5 and PC versions of the game, starting with the former, which is without a doubt the inferior version of the two. The game is also available on PS4 and Xbox consoles, which I cannot speak for. Whilst both the PS5 and PC versions have their technical issues, the PS5 version in particular needs more polish than a rusty rim job, which ironically costs a significant amount more than the more expected £20 or $22 PC version at a staggering £29 or $35 price tag, being one of the most overpriced games in the genre, considering not even Amnesia or Outlast cost that much when they first launched and are far better games. I guess that's why they decided to call it Shamelegacy. Performance issues hinder the experience at almost every turn. A stuttering frame rate when in motion which makes you feel nauseous, mismatched subtitles with misspellings, which admittedly could be due to poor translation on the subtitles being from a Polish developer, so I can forgive that, but the audio itself is terrible. There were times where the dialogue would get stuck, repeating the same words like a broken record, lines of dialogue would overlap like they were delayed, and enemy NPC dialogue would continue at the same audio level even when I was in a different area after escaping them.
You were never really capable of doing anything. You were never really capable. But today, there is a chance to change. He's a traitor to the cult. He's a traitor to the cult. He's a traitor to kill him.
It is poorly mixed and the overall technical performance of the game on PS5 is poorly optimised. As for the voice acting itself, it is strangely cast as the vocals to the character models would not be how I would imagine them. All hostile NPCs sound and look the same, with only a male and female variant, And Will Smith was so tonally inconsistent, I would believe you if you told me he was voiced by 3 different actors. That being said, the voice acting did give me a few laughs when the writing was at its steaming peak.
I just want to find my daughter. My wife.
I have a daughter too, but nobody cares.
Your daughter?
I have a daughter too! I have a daughter! I have a daughter!
I played about a third of the game on PS5 before I decided to try it out on PC, where I completed the game. The difference was night and day. It ran better without many of the audio and visual problems, even things down to how blood looked. On console it had this really strange golden sparkle to it, like it came from a vampire chick flick movie. I guess from the overexposed lighting effects. And in the PC version it looks like, well, blood. So from a technical standpoint I would definitely recommend the PC version over console, but don't get too excited because this is like recommending you put only one ball in the vice as opposed to the entire bag, because the real frustration lies in the gameplay. The majority of your playtime will have you sneaking or running through the village as you evade psychotic cults, both of which comes with their problems. To assist you slipping through the cultist net is a sound meter that indicates your level of noise you're making. If it gets too high, the cultist will hear you honing in on your location. You can crouch to lower the sound levels as you carefully navigate through these linear areas that only really allow you to go 1, maybe 2 ways, so a lot of the stealth relies on you to watch and learn the cultist's very basic patrol patterns. They will walk back and forth in a straight line, allowing you to sneak when their back is turned to you so you can hide in a stinky toilet or a box, to then wait for them to walk back past so you can pop out and get by them unseen. Unfortunately, the AI is so bad they can't even get patrolling a single path right.
Do what you are told.
I heard something! He must be here! It will be over soon.
Enemies will stop in their tracks, not resuming their patrol, so they end up just standing there whilst you wait for them to turn back, but they never do. With only one way forward most of the time, you eventually just move to see if you're seen, and you are, making it very hard at times to evade the enemies.
He's here! I found him!
However, that being said, a lot of the time it does a complete 180, in that the AI's eyesight is so bad they cannot see you if you are more than just a few meters away, meaning you can just speed through many of the areas once you get a feel for the cultist's limited field of view. The amount of times I thought I was done for because they were standing right in front of me looking me dead in the eye, but then they would just keep on walking as if they can't be bothered with the drama of stopping me for breaking cultist law. See no evil, hear no evil, right? Whilst you sneak through, you do have to watch out for traps that if stepped on make a loud noise, and you do sometimes have the ability to defend yourself. You eventually pick up a staff, which is a key item used to open doors and solve puzzles, and it can also be used to hold off cultists when they grab you. However, it appears very random as to when it will actually work. When an enemy does grab you, you have a chance to survive by moving the left thumbstick on a controller or moving the mouse on PC across a bar to reveal a button prompt. You must hold this position and mash in the button it tells you to until it's successful, indicated by turning green, then Will Smith will slap the enemy around the face, allowing you to escape. However, as and when this defense prompt pops up is very inconsistent. There were many times it did not allow me to do this, resulting in an instant death, and even when it did allow me to do it, it wouldn't always work. The prompt would turn green, indicating a successful defense, yet it would result in my failure anyway. Very inconsistent that it could never be trusted to actually see you come out on the other side alive. Should you escape or run fast enough so the cultist won't catch you, you will get stressed, which makes Will breathe heavy and get exhausted. To combat this, you find bottles of tranquilizer lying around you can drink to reduce the effects of this, like someone roaming around a nightclub swooping all the nasty concoctions laying around on the tables. Other than the cultists, you also have crucified villagers in certain areas of the game, whom if they see you they will scream and shout, alerting the cultists and inducing a stress-fueled panic attack. Stay in their line of sight for too long without drinking one of the tranquilizers. This will make the fire monster appear out of nowhere, instantly killing you. These sections are so damn frustrating, especially in the moments when they are unavoidable, meaning you have to just run and pray that you get to a tranquilizer bottle before the monster decides to appear and ruin your day. When the areas are a little more open and you can sneak through them, identifying where these crucified people are, it does work a little bit better and does provide a few moments of suspense. The fire monster itself is also very consistent as to what it can do. When he appears, all you can do is run in these scripted events. However, one minute he is smashing his way through rock or throwing a bunch of logs in the air, and the next he cannot seem to get past a wooden door, and it all results in a very anticlimactic final encounter, where after much build up it all just ends in a few seconds during a cutscene. Very disappointing considering this thing has been on our tail the entire time. It's almost as if Nemesis was chasing us, but then he decided to just sit down and take a nap. Aside from sneaking, running, and getting incredibly frustrated due to the poor implementation of these mechanics, there is also the puzzle solving in the game. You collect crests which fit into the tip of your staff, which in turn can be used as a key. There are probably less than a half a dozen of these puzzles, but they all have you turning a dial to open a door, going in there to get a key or an item, going back to the dial, turning it again to unlock another door, to go into a room where you will use that collected item, and kind of back and forth. It doesn't ever really feel like decent puzzle solving, but more like a glorified door simulator with a means of extending the game's longevity. And that is something most mechanics do in Shamelegacy. They prolong what is already a very short game, but not by adding interesting puzzles, clever stealth mechanics, or the trepidation of moving around the corner in fear of meeting your demise, but because almost every aspect of the game is fundamentally broken in some shape or form. I unfortunately just cannot recommend this game to anyone. Early on I did have some fleeting moments of great atmosphere building when I first entered the village and trying to understand the mystery of what is happening in this forsaken place. That intrigue is quickly replaced with frustration, as Shamelegacy is just another game in the legacy of shameful attempts at horror. And that's it from me. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. Why not stick around and subscribe to the channel? More videos coming out very soon. Hope to see you there, but thanks for tuning in and see you on the next one. Bye bye.